All right. Hello once again, everyone. I'm really excited and happy to see all of you here today. Many people have already joined, but as always, we're going to take the intro a little bit slow to make sure that all of those who are a bit late to the party also have time to join in. All right, awesome. I see George on the screen as well. Hi, George. How are you doing?
Doing great, Alexi. Thanks for having me today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Now, everybody, since I'm using speakers, please let us know in the chat if it's a bit too echoey coming in from my side. I want to make sure that all of you can hear us nice and clear. All right. And let's jump right in. Okay. So today's webinar is about Black Friday and Cyber Monday 2021. As all of you could tell from the title, we're going to be talking about how to maximize sales during this year's busiest season. Now, a quick note here, this is the first session of this webinar mini series. In this session, we're going to be talking more about strategy, the fundamentals that you need to know, and the things that you need to do. In the next session, which is going to be happening on November 16th, which is next Tuesday at the exact same time, 12 p.m. Eastern, we're going to look at a lot of examples of all of the strategies that we talk about today, some of the most successful Black Friday and Cyber Monday messages. So that's also going to be a lot of great content and inspiration that you're going to see in the next session. Okay, no worries if you cannot join the other one. Please feel free to stay today. There's going to be a lot of great stuff to learn, even if you don't join that second one. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. As always, before we jump into the topic, we like to do a quick intro of ourselves so that you guys know who is presenting for you today. So my name's Alexi. I'm the senior product expert here at Omnisend. If we decipher that, that basically means that I'm the person behind Omnisend Academy's visual content like video and webinars. That's why I'm hosting the webinar today. And as always, I like to bring on other experienced guests from the Omnisend team, specifically people who work with customers. And George Moser is a prime example of that. He has over a decade of experience working with e-commerce clients, doing email and SMS marketing. And currently he is the manager of customer success here at Omnisend. So I'm really excited to see that you've joined us today. George, feel free to say hi to everyone.
Yeah, thank you for that warm introduction. Hello, everybody. I see that there's a lot of people that are dialed in here from all over the world. So it's really great that people are connecting all over to really take advantage of the holiday season coming up, and excited to dive a little bit deeper into that with Alexi here.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much, George. Once again, I'm beyond excited. And George has actually already participated in one of our Omnisend Academy webinars before, and I can say undoubtedly that he is a total fan favorite. I mean, the way that George takes difficult marketing concepts and explains them in very simple human language for everyone, even the most beginner marketers, to be able to digest. I absolutely love it. And at the same time, you feel the deep experience and knowledge that George has from all of the practice that he's had over the years. So I'm really excited to have you once again. Thank you so much for joining. And let's jump to the agenda. And I see lots and lots of highs and hellos in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Now, we love transparency here at Omnisend. So currently there's over 100 people in the webinar. I want you guys to know that there's real people here, not robots or something. So I see all of you in the chat, and I hope that all of you can see everyone else too. All right, with in the COVID era, it's very important that we have real human interactions, and I want you guys to get that today, not just the knowledge. So getting back to the point, the topic, the agenda. So we're going to get through this, and then we're going to jump right into the content. We've got a lot to share, so we're not going to waste any time here. Okay, we're going to start with why Black Friday and Cyber Monday are so important. In case this is your first year being an e-commerce store owner or a digital marketer, we want you to understand how impactful this time of year could be for your revenue and for your business growth. So that's the first thing that we're going to address to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Number two is the absolutely essential cornerstone strategies for success. And I know that that's a very long title for a bullet point inside of an agenda, but basically what I wanted to get across that since there's only about 2.5 weeks left until Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and since we only have an hour of time today, we wanted to make sure that we cover only the best, the most important, and the most impactful stuff that we could. This is basically the 20% that is going to bring in the 80% of the results, the things that we're going to cover today. That's why I called it the absolutely essential cornerstone strategies for success. Cheeky title there. Okay, now number 3, for all of you who wanted a little bit extra, a little bit of advanced side of things, some quick tips and tricks on how to be just a little bit better than the rest of your competition, we're going to talk about the things that you can do to truly stand out among all of the noise, right? Everyone else is going to be marketing. A lot of people are going to be applying those essential cornerstone strategies. Well, if you apply the ones in number 3, you're definitely going to be able to stand out just a little bit. Now, number 4 is going to be really quick. We're going to talk about post iOS 15 Black Friday marketing. In case you didn't know, we're going to let you know everything that, in case you didn't know, we're going to let you know. Tongue twister. We're going to share some information about the privacy protection changes that were introduced in iOS 15 and, some things to be aware of. Spoiler alert, it's not as bad as we thought it would be, but still some things to keep in mind. And then finally, last but not least by far, is don't forget the post-purchase. One of the main points that we want to get across in today's session is that you cannot look at Black Friday and Cyber Monday as a way to make quick record-breaking revenue and then disappear from your customer base until the next year's November. You cannot do that because the post-purchase is where the highest returns are. And we're going to talk about why and how to leverage that in your post-purchase communications. All right, anything I missed, George? Or actually, how would you summarize all of this awesome agenda that we've got today? What can people expect in a few words?
Yeah, I thought you covered it beautifully, but in a few words, it's just more in-depth insight into how specifically to leverage Omnisend to drive retention and revenue.
All right. Thank you so much, George. And once again, thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. Let's do this. Remember, there's the raised hands features in Zoom. Everyone, raise your hands if you're excited. And right after that, we're going to jump right in. Now, I am beyond excited, so I'm raising my hand right now. Okay, there we go. 15 raised hands, 20 raised hands. Okay, guys, you rock. 25. Come on, keep it going. 30. 40, 45, 50. Wow, this is fun to watch. This is like watching the stock market. Okay, seems like we're about stuck at 52. All right, great job, everyone. Thank you so much. And one last thing before we jump into the content, the recording, as always, in case you cannot stick for the entire session, is going to be shared with you by email in 24 hours. As always, I'm going to do a quick follow-up, and I'm also probably going to throw in a few additional resources into that email as well. So keep an eye out for your email inbox tomorrow at about the same time. Okay, and one last thing, there's going to be a Q&A at the end. Okay, we're going to try to stick for a bit longer in case we have to, but we want to make sure that we cover all of your questions, guys, or as many as we can. So one rule to follow, the chat is for chatting, everyone. Please feel free to put whatever emotions you have into the chat, whatever you want to comment on. But if you have questions, put them into the Q&A chat. There's a separate Q&A section chat that you can put your questions on. If you put it there, we are going to make sure that we don't miss it and that we get it answered today. Okay, that's the only rule that we have for today. Other than that, no rules. Everyone enjoy the webinar. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is why Black Friday and Cyber Monday is so important. Let's get a scope of what the impact of this time of year is. So it has many different names. It could be called the Black Friday weekend. It could be called the Cyber Monday weekend, BFCM, as we call it in text in today's webinar, or the Cyber 5 or the Cyber 10, whatever you want. Basically, let's take it to a visual form. It's these 5 days of the year, Thanksgiving and the 4 days that follow. And this is the most lucrative time of year for any e-commerce marketer out there. Not only do you get a record-breaking amount of sales, usually people get record-breaking amounts of sales in e-commerce during this time period, but it's also a huge opportunity to get a lot of new subscribers, to start leveraging new communication channels, and to build up your base of loyal fans. It's very, very important to leverage this time of year smart and well, and do, the hard work that's required to achieve that. Now, let's look at some data on the next slide. We've got something that's a graph that George has got for us with some numbers. Could you go over those for us?
Yeah, no, thanks a bunch. I appreciate it. So, this is just showing you the importance of how Black Friday and Cyber Monday really starts to generate revenue and retention before Thanksgiving actually happens. So what you can see towards the bottom is that before Thanksgiving, 55% of consumers will start shopping before then. So it's really imperative to have your initiatives and strategies set up before Thanksgiving. Now, does that mean that if you start Thanksgiving or later that you're going to fail for Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Absolutely not. This is just when your customers are starting to shop. They'll continue to shop into December, the end of November. But the sooner that you can start these initiatives and some of the things that we'll be talking about later on in this presentation, the more chances you have of exceeding your revenue goals, your retention growth, and really just capitalize for this season, and maybe even use this data and information to leverage for next year during the holiday season and get an even bigger jumpstart there. So really important to know that, before Thanksgiving, really important, but it's not an absolute game changer. You're not losing if you haven't started yet. There's a lot that can be done.
Let's look at some revenue numbers, George. Could you go over those for us as well?
Yeah, so what we can see here from 2017 all the way to last year is there's definitely an upward trend here in revenue for these 2, 4, 6 different days that we have put out here. One of the things that might seem a little bit interesting is that you'll notice that these are definitely in the billions, right, in terms of sales, but the biggest day in terms of revenue is actually Cyber Monday. Right? When people talk about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they usually talk about Black Friday first, which is why it came about first, right? There was always a Black Friday, then the internet came along, Cyber Monday really started to pick up steam. So it's definitely a day during the year that you should focus a lot of attention on. Because as you can see from 2019 to 2020, for instance, there was a huge jump there. So this revenue just shows the point, in every single day that you can maximize during this holiday season and leverage to your advantage is just going to help you increase those margins and see dramatic returns there.
Now, while you note that the Cyber Monday revenue last year exceeded the Black Friday revenue, I've also seen data that despite that, the term Black Friday was 3 times more popular in subject lines, and the number of orders was higher than the number of orders on Cyber Monday. So despite that, the number of revenue is higher on Cyber Monday, probably because Black Friday is usually when people shop for small gifts and clothing, apparel, and on Cyber Monday, people buy more costly products like tech, etc. So something to keep in mind, but this doesn't mean that Black Friday is no longer profitable or something like that. You can see from the billions here on this chart that it's really, really huge. And another interesting piece, which George mentioned, is that it's growing year over year. In fact, this is a piece from Shopify. Shopify sales revenue grew from 2.9 billion, or revenue of stores on Shopify, not Shopify as the company, but the stores that are built on Shopify. Those stores' revenue grew from 2.9 billion in 2019 to 5.1 billion in 2020 throughout the Black Friday and Cyber Monday weekend, which is a huge 76% increase. Now, Something to keep in mind is that this has largely happened because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And this year, we can definitely see a significant slowdown of e-commerce sales. So be aware that it might actually be lower this year, but it's definitely in what I expect, it's definitely still going to be big, and it's going to exceed that 2.9 billion we saw in 2019. I think you would agree, George.
I would, and there will be a drop. We anticipate that, but if you look comparatively, from the slide that Alexi showed before, from 2017 to 2018, 2018 to 2019, et cetera, there is that growth. So from up until the 2017, 18, and 19, you're going to see a jump in sales that's going to be on par for what you've seen in the past. It's just things are going to dip a little bit more comparatively to last year. So if you do have data that shows, 2018, 17, 2019, et cetera, look at those revenue numbers and kind of anticipate more. That'll allow you to anticipate more what types of gains you'll be able to see.
I would also speculate that a lot of people, even though many people are going to be more interested in offline shopping this year with the pandemic easing off a little bit, I think that this pandemic forced a lot of people to actually get into the habit of shopping online in the first place. And a lot of those people are going to stick to that habit from now on. So it's definitely still going to be huge this year. Now, one last piece of data I think that we've got for this section is the following. 1 in 8 shoppers who clicked on an email during Black Friday and Cyber Monday last year made a purchase. That's an incredibly huge conversion rate. Now, George, what do we usually see for not Black Friday and Cyber Monday season? Do you have like an estimate? How impactful is this actually?
Generally speaking, we're going to see about a 2% click rate in regular campaigns that are sent outside of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday time periods. And of course, there's going to be outliers. Things depend on different verticals and things of that nature. But to see this type of engagement, I was actually taken aback by this. This is a lot bigger than I thought it would be, but it just makes a lot more sense. As you mentioned too earlier, Lexi, like this is the biggest time of year where you're going to be generating revenue, you're going to be generating retention, and there's going to be a lot of people there trying to get at your inbox, and people always are looking for great deals, which I think is one of the reasons why Cyber Monday outperforms Black Friday, because it's kind of like your last chance to get in those really last minute sales. So there's a huge difference here, and there's no doubt that number is just going to get bigger and bigger in the coming years.
Yep. One piece of data that we did not feature in today's presentation is that based on last year's trends, the term special deal outperformed the term sale by a very significant percentage. So that just goes to show that people are definitely looking for these deals. They're definitely looking for a way to save in these Black Friday and Cyber Monday initiatives for marketers. So hopefully this helps you get a grasp of how important Black Friday and Cyber Monday is. And we're going to jump right into the absolutely essential cornerstone Black Friday and Cyber Monday strategies for success, everybody. All right, I accidentally learned that by heart doing the presentation right now. Okay, let's jump into the first one, which is prepare your store. So as I mentioned in the beginning, while we were on the agenda slide, I want you guys to understand that Black Friday and Cyber Monday is just not a 5-day period where you can get a lot of money and then don't do any marketing for the rest of the year again and come back next Black Friday and Cyber Monday. This is a huge opportunity to grow your contact list. And by doing that, you're also going to give yourself more opportunities to convert more people, to close more sales faster with these strategies that I'm going to show for preparing your store. So you're going to be able to leverage that contact list growth that if you implement these strategies that you're going to see throughout the year and next Black Friday and Cyber Monday and the next one, and not during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, overall, the week after Black Friday and Cyber Monday and the month after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. This is where a lot of substantial and consistent growth can come from. So leverage the influx of interested high intent shoppers coming to your store, not only in terms of revenue, but also in terms of subscriber growth. And obviously, clearly, that's going to come in form of pop-up sign up forms, okay? So this one first example, and I know this might sound like really simple stuff, but guys, this is super effective. This is how you make sure that this success is lasting, right? So the first example that I've got for us is get early access to Black Friday. Really simple pop-up form, which doesn't even have a monetary incentive. The incentive is basically that you're going to be able to jump the queues on Black Friday and unlock exclusive offers before everyone else does. And you know, when there's this madness, this frenzy of sales and everyone receiving dozens of emails per day going on, people are actually afraid on missing out on these deals. They're afraid of being late to the party and coming to your store when the sale has already ended and coming to your store when the stock has already sold out. So they will subscribe to something like this just for the sake of receiving updates. Now, the next one that I've got for us is a bit of a spin off of that one. Very similar. It also says that you'll be the first to know about our Black Friday offers and special coupons, but this also has a 5% discount on top. Now, I am a big believer of discounts in pop-up forms. I've seen data, I've seen it in practice, and I've also seen data and have felt it myself that fixed dollar amount discounts convert really, really great. Not saying that percentage-based discounts don't work, but if you can pull off like a $10 off coupon code for everyone who subscribes to your Black Friday list, you're going to be able to not only get many new subscribers, you're also going to get many of those people to buy right away because of that special deal. That's what Black Friday is all about in the first place, right? Awesome deals. So don't promise them awesome deals, give them an awesome deal up front. All right, what do you think about that, George?
Yeah, I really like this. And, you know, if we can go back to the previous slide.
Yep,
you know,
sure.
what I love about this is, you know, it's taking a pain point. Nobody likes to wait in line. Everybody wants to feel important, and driving that point home without really, you're giving something away. You're giving them access to get, you know, these new deals and information sooner. However, you're not giving anything away monetarily. So this is a really good thing maybe to potentially A/B test. Alexi, like you said, data suggests that the percentage off or a dollar amount off for signing up definitely increases conversions. But it's okay to come and try and play around with different wording here and using really unique call to actions that stand out. Unlock early access. That's very, very powerful. So that's something that I like a lot. And Alexi, if you can go back to the next slide, something I'd like to share. So maybe, for instance, you are one of those brands that doesn't want to give, you know, an extra 5% off, for instance, to sign up for an email here. You can get a little bit creative and just leverage maybe something else of value that's of a monetary concern that your contacts would be interested in, your customers. Maybe you have something that states on your website, if you spend over $50, you receive free shipping. That's a great value add. Insert that maybe in the pop-up. Sign up to, you know, receive our latest updates and promos for Black Friday. And as a special consolation, when you spend $50, you get free shipping off your order. You're not giving anything extra away. You're providing additional value in terms of what they spend in that free shipping. And you tie that together with acquiring that email address. So it's okay to get creative and try new ideas. Make sure you're constantly testing out ideas so you're staying top of mind with the different offers that you have.
For sure. And another thing that I've seen several times already is marketers offering a gift guide as an incentive, which is basically leveraging the fact that a lot of people are shopping on Black Friday for Christmas gifts and for gifts in general for their loved ones. And it's difficult to be creative and come up with ideas for gifts. We all know that sometimes it can be quite challenging, and they will literally leverage a simple a simple PDF with gift suggestions or an email with gift suggestions with their best-selling products and descriptions of what situation, what type of person every gift is for. And they leverage that as something that you would want to subscribe for. So that's another completely free idea. The people are going to be coming to your store naturally because it's Black Friday. And you can take advantage of that for free without doing anything, just setting up a pop-up form. So this is huge, and don't underestimate such a simple thing as this. The fact that it's simple does not mean that it doesn't work. It definitely does.
And
Now,
Alexi, one thing
yep.
I love that point that you brought up in terms of the buyer's guide. You know, a lot of big brands that people try to want to be there, those big enterprise, Fortune 1000 types of e-commerce and retail companies, they generate a lot of content, and that builds a lot of trust with their buyers and subscribers, because you're informing them, you're giving them something for free, and it's not just you contacting them to sell something. No, you're giving them a guide that allows them to understand what they can buy, what they can purchase. So leveraging content is going to be very powerful, not just at this time of year, but the 365 days a year in driving that retention and driving that revenue.
Definitely. Now, a bit of a quick tip on the back end of things is I highly suggest all of you to, if you're going to be creating Black Friday and Cyber Monday special forms, I highly recommend you to add a tag to everyone who subscribes from those forms. Now, number one, they are subscribing for Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. So you want to make sure that you know who those people are, and that you send them those offers, that you don't have them, slip through the cracks and get forgotten about. You want to have a tag on them and be able to segment them out easily and effectively. Now, another reason is a lot of Black Friday and Cyber Monday shoppers tend to be seasonal shoppers. A lot of these people are going to shop your store, get a lot of products, and then never come back for another 365 days. You might think that they're inactive, but keep those people with this tag, keep those on your list. Don't send them the rest of your messages if they're not reacting to them, if they're not engaging. But the next year, when Black Friday and Cyber Monday comes around again, pull up this list, pull up this segment of people, and try to market to them again. That's going to be, once again, like a free resource for you, a free base of people that were active during this particular time of year. It's going to be really, really likely that they're going to be active again during this time next year. Okay?
And in a way, Alexi, that's kind of, it's kind of a tactic to use for personalization in a way, or segmentation, because what you're doing, right, is connecting with that person next year. You're saying, hey, notice you purchased X, Y, and Z from us last year. Think you might be interested in these new products that we have next year that might be similar. So we're not just using this to stay organized, we're using this to take action on that organization and really drive home that engagement later on.
Yep. And another thing on the same side of things is inside of your welcome automations, make sure to update those if you have multiple forms, especially to make sure that you're sending them the exact content or the exact incentive that they sign up for. If you have a Black Friday $10 off and a Black Friday 10% off pop-up A/B test, make sure that you have two separate welcome automations with this selected, the corresponding form selected, and sending them the message that they signed up for. You want to make sure that your new subscribers are happy and receive the content that they particularly signed up for. So, okay, so this is just a quick tip, but make sure you don't forget about this. Now, this is another example. I believe this is from one of our clients. Now, the reason I put this one here, this is not even the Black Friday and Cyber Monday themed pop-up, but this has a text message sign-up field where people can enter their mobile phone number to receive text messages. And we're going to talk about SMS more in this webinar, but I wanted to put it out there right away that text messages, SMS messages are going to be highly, highly effective this year. And the first thing that you have to do is start collecting those phone numbers. So by including a text message field inside of your pop-up, which again costs nothing to do, you are giving your customers the option to subscribe, and you're also giving yourself a little bit of a list. So definitely consider starting to collect text message subscribers now, better sooner than later, right? And another one final one, not going to spend too much time here, but gamification, gamified sign-up forms are also really great for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the Christmas holiday season as well, because people are already in a more festive mood. They want to have fun. Maybe they're on vacation, some of them, when it gets closer to the Christmas season, right? So they will be more inclined towards something that's more fun and playful. So a gamified form like Omnisend's Wheel of Fortune is a great way to add a little bit of variety into the boring pop-up forms that everybody else uses, right? So think about this. I love the idea of using this on a seasonal basis, not throughout the year, but only around Black Friday, Cyber Monday to Christmas. I think that's a really great way to generate a little bit extra of those engaged subscribers. One final note here, remember, never buy a contact list, because lately we've seen a huge uptrend in people buying contact lists and trying to send to them using Omnisend. Guys, if you're not aware, it never works. Never buy a contact list. You're never going to make a single penny out of those purchased contact lists. So this is just an FYI. I'm not saying this because it hurts our deliverability or reputation or something like that. No, it's just to save you time and money and patience. Never buy a contact list. Collect subscribers yourself. Collect real people, real engaged human beings. And that's the way you truly deliver value and make value in a monetary form for yourself. Okay, number 2 is create a content calendar for your newsletter campaigns. Okay, so this is going to need a bit of an explanation, but this is a concept that Gabe, our director of customer success, introduced me to about half a year ago. And I've been finding this extremely helpful, and we're using it here at Omnisend for our internal communications as well, such as emails and in-app notifications. So a content calendar is basically any form you like. It doesn't have to be a calendar. It can be a Google Sheet spreadsheet. It can be a physical calendar that you hang on the wall, or it could be a digital calendar, or it could be like a picture I've put together here. So we're going to get rid of the turkey, the Black Friday, and everything else from here to not distract us. Basically, what you do is you deliberately plan out your email campaigns ahead of time. And this is a huge time saver and an efficiency booster, because when you prepare your content ahead of time, it's going to be so much better, so much more effective, much more thought out, and is going to get more people interested, engaged, and in love with your brand than if you put something together last minute. And it's also less stress for you, because you know what your next campaign is about. You know what type of content you have to prepare. So for example, you know, on the day before Thanksgiving, we're going to send some mysterious, hype up, get excited type of email, like we're cooking up something crazy for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Stay tuned. Now on Thanksgiving, we could announce the sales. Everything's going to be 25% off. And here's a countdown timer. When it hits 0, the sales are going to go live. So make sure to set a reminder, set an alarm clock for that time or something to make sure that you get in early and get the products before they sell out. Then obviously sales going live, then sales are still going on, maybe take a break on Sunday, and then send them some content of our amazing tech products on Monday. This is a completely, this is something that I completely just made up in my mind. This is not a real content calendar, but you get the point. I planned out some imaginary campaigns for the future. And when I do it this way, all of this makes sense. Every campaign has a reason, and every campaign is leading up to the next one. And it's going to be so much better for your customers and so much more effective in terms of results. Now, here's a few more tips about the content calendar. Number one, you can base it on holidays, which is basically what we're doing right now, right? So George, which ones of these would you consider like the tentpole days, the most important ones?
Yeah, it depends based on your business, right? Obviously, on November 4th, Diwali may not be applicable to everyone across the world. So you definitely want to leverage these based on what's important to you and what's important to your customers. So I would say, Cyber Monday is really big, the whole Cyber Week. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, day after Christmas is good, and New Year's Eve. I think those are the big ones, along with Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday. And slowly but surely, Small Business Saturday, everybody, you're going to see this in the next coming years. It's slowly creeping up more and more and more as a really, really big day, not just for small business owners, but for medium-sized business owners as well. So don't forget that day. It's very important, and you're just going to continue to see that surge up and to the right in terms of engagement and revenue in the coming years from now.
And I think what's important to understand here is the general framework. You don't have to use this for November and December only. Take the holidays, Google up holidays for the rest of the year and make a content calendar based on those. Or you can just do a content calendar for weekly campaigns. You get the point. It's a very cool concept. Today, though, we're talking about specifically how to use it for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So tip number 2.
Sorry about that, Alexei.
Yep.
And leveraging this, type of content calendar is something that you're going to notice throughout the year that's going to take very little effort on your part, but going to show tremendous rewards. Just an hour and a half to create those campaigns, create that strategy, what it's going to look like. It's just going to do so much for you in the meantime. So better to do that and create that now than wait a couple more weeks when you're going to be doing 15 other things at once and having to make those changes and pivots at that time.
Yep. For me, it's definitely the biggest benefit of having a content calendar is definitely the fact that it reduces stress, because I always know in advance when and what my next campaign is going to be about, and I prepare it ahead of time and I schedule it out, and I don't have to worry about it. It goes out itself. So the second, the point 2.1 is another tip for the content calendar is start early. Now, as George showed, starting early has probably being more applicable to the beginning of October. Right now is not very early, but it's still great to start as early as possible, right? If you're
better today than tomorrow.
Yep, better today than tomorrow. The best time to plant a tree is today, or yesterday. The second best time is today, right? So in case you haven't started, start as early as you can, which if we go back to our content calendar, basically is today, the 9th. So after this webinar or tomorrow when you get back to work, in case it's the evening in your time zone, when you come back to work tomorrow, put together a very simple email saying, hey guys, we're preparing a lot of amazing deals, very special offers for all of you this upcoming Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Stay tuned. We're going to be sharing those by email. So keep an eye out on your email inbox. You're going to start hyping up your audience, getting them warmed up, and getting them to keep their eye out on their inbox. So you're setting good expectations for them, and that's going to lead to more people opening your emails and clicking down the road. You're not going to appear out of nowhere. They're going to be warmed up and ready. So, and you can schedule, a couple extra ones. You can build up the hype. You can share some sneak peeks, share some early pre-sale type of things. Those have been proven to work year over year. Those are great things. As George said, as George showed with the data, you can start as early as beginning of October with these Black Friday, Cyber Monday pre-sales and deals building up to the big event. So definitely start as early as you can.
And one other thing, just in case there's a few people on here that are thinking this, the content calendar, it doesn't have to be just one for all emails, one for all SMS and MMS, one for all push notifications. You can combine all those channels where you communicate into one content calendar here. So just because we have emails in here as some examples doesn't mean it has to be just that. Leverage every channel you can in that content calendar.
Yep. And 2.2, I think that the last one, quick tip for the content calendar is send more. Uh, in case you don't know, everybody else is going to be sending a lot of emails and SMS messages, but mostly emails. A lot of those are going to go out within the week, the 10 days, and on the days of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So you have to also be there with a lot of messaging. Now, usually we wouldn't recommend to do this at all, but in this case, everybody is going to be doing it every year. There's tons and tons of messages, so you have to be there too. So we're going to take our content calendar from this to something like this. We're going to add a message per day within the 7 to 10 days leading up to Black Friday. And then on the cornerstone days, the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday, we can even send 2 to 3 emails per day, but we wouldn't recommend more than 3. So on those most important days, 3 emails per day is the way to go. And and one last one for the email campaigns. When it comes to the email content, less is more. Our team analyzed 229 million Black Friday and Cyber Monday emails from more than 40,000 email campaigns. And here are the main findings that they came up with. Number one, subject lines that have up to 7 words have the best open rates. Anything that's longer than 7 words is likely to not fit, get shortened with the 3 dots, and is likely to have a worse open rate. Number 2,
One thing to add to that,
yep,
is if you are having trouble trying to get to that 7, trying to cut that down to up to 7 words, and you have more than that, as an outlier, like make sure that it's less than 50 characters. So if it's 8, 9 different words, if it's under that 50 character limit, you'll be good. If it's under that 7-word limit, you'll be really good.
A great tip. Thank you so much, George. Actually, do you want to go through these now? I feel like I'm talking a bit way too much. Let's give you some time to talk as well.
Sure, happy to. Yeah. So when it comes to creating your emails, try to have 2 to 3 call to actions. That's going to get you the best overall clicks possible. Because you want to find a fine line. Having 1, maybe 2 call to actions, it's not enough depending on what you're saying. But then putting, 10, 20 call to actions like a daily deals email might show won't really fit what the broader e-commerce space will actually want to do. So make sure you have those 2 or 3 CTAs and you're clear in terms of what you're saying in each one.
And one thing I would add is make sure that even if it's not 20 different CTAs, but 2 or 3, still make sure, keep an eye on those to make sure that those are all working towards the same goal, that all of those are not taking away from each other and dispersing your reader's attention. Make sure that all of them are in line with each other. That's a very important thing that we tend to miss out on.
And if for whatever reason, all you have 7 CTAs, let's say, and they all do match with what you're trying to do and what you're trying to say in that overall message, chop the email up into 2 different campaigns. Send one email out with 2 to 3 call to actions. The second email goes out, with the remaining call to actions, and you have 2 separate messages that are getting the point across of what it is you're trying to direct your consumers to do.
And I see some questions in the chat saying, what is a CTA? A CTA stands for a call to action button. Basically, it's the buttons inside of emails saying shop now, read blog post, register now for the webinar, actionable items, actionable buttons that you put inside of your emails. So you definitely want to have those. If you don't have any, people are not going to go to your store after reading your email. And if you have too many, as we said, people are going to get lost and it's going to look a bit, it might end up looking a bit spammy with too many buttons, with an email littered by buttons. But, piggybacking of what George has said, I remember I did this weekly email digest episode about an email from Apple where they had 13 clickable links inside of their email. So it doesn't have to always be 2 to 3. The type of email they were sending was a bunch of different deals. Here's the iPhone, shop now and learn more. Here's another type of iPhone, shop now, learn more. And we're also having a conference, learn more. Things that, in my head, they're kind of taking away from each other, but if Apple is doing it this way, it means that it works too. But the average shows that 2 to 3 CTAs is the best, short and straight to the point.
That's great. So from a discounting your offering standpoint, we found through analyzing all of those emails, the 229 million of them or so, you're going to see higher click rates and conversions based on the 10% and 20% off. So, and that might take a little bit of people by surprise a little bit. Well, what about somebody that's offering 30% or 50% off of, their specific items? Well, one of the things that could probably be doing is that it's showing that you're kind of potentially, I'm not saying this is happening, but you're showing that like you're trying to get the most out of your contacts. You have a really low cost point for what these products actually are, and you're just marginalizing them to a huge degree. So they might think, oh, okay, they're only doing 50% off every couple of months. Why can't they do that all the time? So that's why, having that 10 to 25% provides a little bit more credibility that there's value in your products, that you're still giving a little bit off, but not enough to where, it's something that would draw some concerns or red flags.
Yep, we have this chart here from our Omnisend blog showing the results of the research. So you can see the highest click rate by far is for those emails that offer from 15 to 25% off. And surprisingly enough, as George said, look at this, 45 to 50% off are not doing that great on the click rate side. So a very interesting insight. Now take this with a grain of salt, but keep it in mind, be aware. Okay, and one last one is showcasing 3 to 6 products seems to be the sweet spot for click rates. It's for Omnisend customers, it's no surprise that showcasing your products inside of your emails is important. That's why we make a great effort to make sure that it's easy to pull your products from your e-commerce store and add them to your email. So make sure to showcase at least 3 to 6 is the sweet spot for click rates. Too many, and it's going to look a bit too overcrowded. And not including any products at all. If you're writing an email that's short and sweet to the point with just one CTA, just very, very clear and fast, you can get away with not including any products. But if you're announcing your sale, also put some of your highest interest products into that email as well. It's going to make it easier for people to think that, I have to go to the store to see what's on sale versus I can see the main items that are on sale inside of the email right now, and I can go right to the product pages of those particular products. So much easier, and a lot more people are going to click.
And remember, everyone, the purpose of an email, the purpose of an SMS, an MMS, a push message, the purpose of that is not to sell them to convert, it's to get them to the website to make a purchase. So provide those 3 to 6 products in there that are relevant to that segment you may be sending to, or to the message that you're trying to convey. You want to just tease them to get them to go to the website. Then when they're on there, then you can show a lot of different recommendations and things of that nature to get them to convert.
All right, great insight, George. Thank you. And let's try to speed up a little bit here because I see that we're running out of time really quick here and we still have a lot of cool stuff to share. So we're going to try to speed through these slides here really fast and leave some time for that Q&A at the end, which I think all of you are waiting for. Number 3, the last one of the cornerstone Black Friday and Cyber Monday strategies is automations. Make sure that you have those set up. In case you already do, update them for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Really quick, in case you don't know what the value, the impact of automations is, basically last year in November 2020, 27% of all email conversions came from automated messages. So a significant slice of the pie, while only accounting for 2% of all emails sent. So they're highly effective. They have a great conversion rates, much higher than email campaigns. So make sure that you have these on. And as opposed to campaigns, you don't have to put a new email together every time. You just put some 2 to 3 emails for each workflow ahead of time, and you don't have to get back to them at all. They're going to keep running automatically. So make sure that you have the most important ones enabled. And the most important, the essential ones for Black Friday and Cyber Monday are welcome message or series. Obviously, especially if you're promoting some sign-up deal with your pop-up forms, make sure that there's a welcome message or series to follow up on that. Include a strong incentive and showcase sales-specific items, some things that you want to do in that message or series. Number two, cart abandonment. Of course, about 70% of carts get abandoned. So you want to follow up with those people, especially with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. They're going to be looking at many different products. So you want to make sure that you shorten those timing rules to make sure that you get them to come back to you before they come back to one of your competitors. And also splitting by cart total is a great way to stand out, getting a bit into that next part of the content. Split by cart total for the people who are about to spend bigger, offer them bigger incentives to try to get them back, because potentially they could become loyal customers with high lifetime spend. And finally, product and browse abandonment. This one is new. We don't usually talk about this one when we talk about the basics, but for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, when everything is really fast-paced, there's lots of competitors trying to stick their nose into what you're doing and steal your customers. Product and browse abandonment is something that works really fast and helps you secure more of those purchases. So definitely look into this one, into setting this one up for yourself. It's not as difficult as it might sound, but it's something that it works before people even add items to cart. When they just take a peek at your product page, set this one up for your highest traffic items, and you're going to see some more of those purchases secured. All right, now let's talk about how to stand out. A few quick tips here. Once again, let's try to speed through them, George. All right. Number one, use SMS. All right, please give us an introduction to SMS, George, won't you?
Yeah, so it's going to be probably your highest converting channel. The reason being is because it's a very intimate channel to connect with. People are always walking around with their cell phones and be able to get that message right then and there. Whereas an email, sometimes you can turn the preview off and not see them. It gets that interest really quickly. So not only is there high engagement there, but there's also a higher unengagement rate of unsubscribe. So make sure that you're doing this in a strategic fashion and not just spraying and praying with SMS and MMS messages. Excuse me.
The SMS channel is often promoted as the VIP channel. Subscribe to our SMS channel to be one of our most valuable customers. We're going to message you with the best, most important deals. And marketers forget to stick to that promise lots of times, So make sure that if you're promising that you stick to that. Only send them the best deals. And now this example that I've got on the screen right now is a welcome message from Runway Rogue, one of our customers, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, this is definitely one of our customers. Yes. So imagine Black Friday, people getting dozens of emails every day, subscribing to several different newsletters at the same time, and all of those messages getting lost in their email inbox. And then they subscribe to Runway Rogue and they receive this SMS message. Nobody is sending them SMS messages, and Runway Rogue are. And they're going to take this. It's going to be so much easier for them to take this code and go to Runway Rogue and shop their products. So that's the power of SMS messages. Now, here's some data to support that. The average SMS message open rate is 98%. Of course, we're all on our phones all the time. And 90% of SMS messages are opened within the first 5 minutes. That's why SMS is so great for cart abandonment, for welcome messages, for browse abandonment, and for order confirmation automations. So definitely look into those ones to try SMS out. Number two, add GIFs. This one's really fun, but GIFs make things come alive, static images coming alive, like this presentation right here. There's been a few GIFs here and there, and it makes it a bit more playful. And the same goes for emails. This one is from Sanzo. Now they're not one of our customers, but I really love the way that they're designing their emails. And they're basically saying that we're basically water, but we're flavored water. So we're like this still tasteless, without sparkles, mineral water, but we're so much cooler because we have sparkles, we have flavor, we have multiple different flavors, but we're still mineral water. How cool is that? And they tell that message, tell that story through just a simple GIF, and it just looks really cool. And number 3, get creative. Kind of, talking off of that previous point, a GIF is also a way to get creative. But here are a few more ideas for you. Number 1, good old sense of humor. This is Happy Socks. Once again, not one of our customers, but I am personally subscribed to Happy Socks, and I've purchased from Happy Socks because of the amazing email marketing that they do. I absolutely love it. And what they say is, it could be a lot worse. If you're looking for socks as a gift for someone for the holiday season, well, at least you're looking at Happy Socks and not plain old white socks. So it could be a lot worse. And it's really, really funny. It made me crank up, and they brightened up my day. They delivered value to me, emotional value. And that makes me so much more connected to the brand and so much more likely to buy. So good old sense of humor is a great way to get creative. Now, another one, let's be really quick here, but basically I was impressed by an email from Really Good Emails. It's a resource that I often use for browsing email examples. I highly recommend you to check it out. But they recently sent me this email where they included my first name in the image. And I've never seen anything like this. This is the first time that I've come across this. And they mention here that they use Nifty Images to generate this. So check out Nifty Images. They have these impressive personalized pictures that you can put together for people's birthdays, for just regular emails like this one. They also have countdown timers, and it's super easy to just create it inside of Nifty Images and paste that code into Omnisend. As far as I understand from myself testing it out, there's no integration that you need to do. You literally just create it on their website and paste the code into Omnisend, and it works. So another creative idea for you guys to check out. And finally, one last one is something that Gabe uses all the time, our director of customer success, is daysoftheyear.com. Check that website out, and he leverages it all the time, not just in emails, but in conversations. So for example, November 2021 is Manatee Awareness Month. Did you know? I didn't. Well, you can use that inside of your emails for Black Friday and Cyber Mondays. Say, Matt the Manatee is inviting you to check out our Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals because it's Manatee Awareness Month. Or you could flip it in a more serious way and say that it's Manatee Awareness Month, so we're going to be donating a percentage of our profits to a manatee protection organization of our choice. So by buying from us, you're also contributing. So that's a creative way to create an additional selling point for your deals.
And an additional personality, right, as well, because that's one of the things that you're getting through in here is a personality of your brand. With Happy Socks, very tongue-in-cheek. With Manatee Awareness, very aware of things that are happening that month that your customers might be aware of. So don't be afraid to give your personality a name, and these are just a couple of ways on how to do that.
All right, and the next one is drive urgency. Could you talk a little bit about that, George?
Yeah, it's one thing to say, hey, our sale's going to be ending soon, or hurry up for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, while it's still available. It still is creating urgency. There's a time limit. But what Alexi and I love about this is that we're putting a specific time to that. Here we have a countdown clock that's put in via Nifty Images that gives them that exact days, hours, minutes, and seconds that they have left until that sale ends. Drive urgency by creating something that really sticks. Having those specific timestamps is a very sticky point in driving, getting those people to engage in those messages.
And I think we have one last one, know your buyer persona. So before you break that down for us, George, I see that a few people are mentioning in the chat. Oh, my tongue is getting all numb from all of this talking, actually. Some people are mentioning that they have to get back to work and they have another meeting to attend or something because the webinar time is running out, we're going to take a little bit extra time to finish this off and to get some of your live questions answered. So if you can stick around, it's highly encouraged. Let's keep this thing going. We've got some more awesome tips to share with you guys. But if you have to go, we're really sorry, but you will be able to get back to this in the recording. In case you missed the beginning, I'm going to be sending a follow-up email tomorrow at the exact same time of the webinar, just tomorrow, and it's going to contain the recording. So in case you have to go right now, no worries, you will be able to get back to where you left off and finish watching the presentation. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, everyone who is sticking around. Let's keep this thing going.
Yeah, so knowing your buyer personas, this kind of goes in line a lot with using the content calendar to kind of stay organized and know what's ahead of you so that you can plan properly. Same rule applies. It's knowing who your customers are and being able to deliver the right message to them. And that's kind of a general thing to kind of say, but how do you go about creating practical definitions for what a buyer persona is? And here are a few questions that you can ask yourself to identify those people. So who is your customer? Right? Where are they located? What is their name? What's their email address? How often have they engaged with you? Right? How can your brand help the customer? What are you trying to do for this specific customer? Is it a VIP? Well, if it's a VIP, you probably want to let them know because in the sign-up box, it says they are the first to receive exclusive insight into when a sale is going to happen, right? Knowing how you can help the brand, that's a way right there. And then what are their interests? Leverage their engagement via email, SMS, push notifications. Leverage their buying history in the past to understand who they are, right? So maybe you have a segment of VIP members that you want to introduce to a new product line that you're launching, right? And maybe it's a version 2 of that product. Maybe you would want to take everybody that bought version 1 that's opened an email, that's clicked on an email in the past 2 months and that's located in the US because the sale is specifically for US customers. Create that buyer persona or that segment and then send those tailored messages to those unique individuals.
Yep, that's huge. And that's basically where all marketing strategies stem from, understanding your customers. That's what marketing is, giving them the thing that they're looking for, the product that solves their problem, the product that rids them of their pain, etc. So it's really, really huge to understand and really impactful to understand who your customers are and what they're looking for. And I totally second you on this one, George. And I think that's all we have for how to stand out. Now, a really quick piece about iOS 15. Essentially, in case you're not aware, Apple released iOS 15, which has a feature called mail privacy protection. And whoever opens emails through Apple Mail and has mail privacy protection enabled is going to show open. Their emails are going to appear as opens 100% of the time. And you're not going to be able to track who actually opens those emails. And from our data, 40 to 50% of all emails are opened through Apple Mail. Now, the reality is, it's been, 2 months, right, after it's been released, and currently only about 30% of emails that are opened using Apple Mail have privacy protection enabled. So if we go back to that, 40 to 50% of all emails are open through Apple Mail, and only about 30% of those have mail privacy protection enabled. That makes about 10 to 15% roughly of your email opens that are going to appear as opens all the time. So you can expect your open rates to be 10 to 15% elevated, more than they really are, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's definitely not the impact that we were anticipating before the release of iOS 15. So keep this in mind. Try to optimize for clicks, not opens, because clicks are reliable, clicks are 100% trackable, and clicks are what drives revenue, not opens. They're a much stronger indicator of a person's buying intent. So take the opens with a grain of salt and optimize for clicks. That's basically it for the iOS 15 changes. And let's talk about the last but not least, the post-purchase. As we know, acquiring a new customer can be very costly. In fact, comparing to selling to an existing customer, it can be 5 times more costly than retaining, which is huge. And another piece of information is, another fact is that returning customers also show higher average order value than first-time shoppers. All of this combined, and we have that a 5% increase in retention can lead to huge increases in profit. So remember that Black Friday and Cyber Monday is not just about driving some quick revenue, getting yourself profitable for the rest of the year. No, it's a huge opportunity for you to retain more customers after Black Friday. Keep marketing to them, keep sending them relevant products, and keep driving more and more revenue off of them, increasing their lifetime value. This is huge, and a lot of people forget about this. So some quick tips for the post-purchase. Number one, provide order confirmation. I think, George, you will agree that order confirmation is really important for trust building, because
Absolutely.
when I don't receive that order confirmation email after making a purchase, I'm going to be staring at that email inbox until I do receive it. And with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, with the volumes of emails that are going to be sent out, and with the volumes of emails inside of people's email inboxes, there might be delays with the deliverability of that email, and it might simply get lost among all of the other emails. And people are going to be sitting there staring at their email inboxes, hating your brand for scamming you, for taking their money and not receiving their order. That's what is going to be going through people's heads. Now, if you use SMS as an alternative, they're going to receive it right away. It's going to be right in their phone. They're definitely going to see and hear that notification, and they're going to be 100% at peace with the fact that your brand is legit and their order has been received.
Alexi, one thing I just want to mention here is that these are very powerful, leveraging text messages for order confirmations, but text messages are very costly, a lot more so than emails or push notifications. So something to add to this to really drive some extra sales, because as Alexi just said, those returning customers are going to spend a lot more than a first-time customer. Maybe just say something like, here's your order, you can check it out here, and then encourage them to buy again. Here's 15% off your next purchase. Do that. Like something like that, leveraging something simple like an order confirmation, which already generates some of the highest opens and click rates of any automation available, to not only provide them with the information they're looking for, but another opportunity to increase sales and get them to purchase again will be very powerful. So that's something else to think about.
For sure. And that's exactly what our next point is about. Upsell people on similar or complementary items. And one of the perfect ways, one of the perfect places to do that is that order confirmation email. Now, I really love this example that I found from Dollar Shave Club. What Dollar Shave Club do is they have a subscription service for manscaping products. And what they do is every month before sending out your package, they send you a confirmation email. Your next box ships on 11/30, right? Here are your products, but they don't just stop there. They say, do you want to toss some more products in? Look, there's this magnanimous post shave that I would never think about adding to my box. I have everything I need, but with the way they're presenting it, I'm already happy with these products. I know that Dollar Shave Club are great. I am waiting and looking forward to receiving my products. Why not toss another one in and see what that one is about? It's as easy as click this button and it's going to be added to my box, which ships on 11/30. So a really native, natural place to include some more product recommendations. You've already experienced how awesome these products are. It's so much easier to sell to you than to someone who is cold to our brand and has never seen our products before. That's why post-purchase is so powerful. Now, the next one, a quick tip is to extend the sale. This is not really post-purchase, more like make the most out of Black Friday, right? Maximize those sales, extend that sale, but not forever, not make it a month long after Black Friday and keep on extending it and extending it and extending it. That's going to kill the urgency. That's why I love this example. What they do here is they say extend it, but for 48 hours only. So they're giving you another chance to go and buy and for them to make some extra sales, but for 48 hours only. They're not saying we're extending for 2 weeks because that's going to kill the scarcity and urgency aspect of it all. All right. And another one, and we're coming to the end here really, really soon. But this one is very important, which is ask for reviews and or feedback. I've got this example here. I'm going to explain really quickly why I chose this one, but I think you could share some more expertise on why reviews are so important in the long-term game for us, George, after I do this. So the reason I chose this one is because it's a combination of the upsell and the collecting feedback and or reviews. Because what they're doing here is they say, take the survey, give us some feedback on your customer experience and on our products. And for doing that, we're going to give you a 15% off discount code, which you're going to be able to use for another purchase, where you're going to be able to come back and buy from us again. And all you have to do is take the survey. This is amazing. This is serving both goals, the short-term gains for you, the short-term sales, and the longevity of your business, which is someone leaving a good, satisfied review for your products. Tell us a bit more about the importance of that, George.
Yeah, so it all comes down to really social proof. If, you know, so leverage this information, these surveys, for instance, in your communication, your campaigns that you send out. You're more likely to get more engagement and more sales by leveraging that. So put in, Tommy left 5 stars because the service was great and the product, you know, he's had for a year and absolutely loves it. So that's going to go a long way to just further selling and proving the point to who you are and the value that you send. And if somebody else likes it, right, and you make that known, chances are that's going to encourage other people to make that purchase. Now, there's also other things that can go into it, like reviews can help with SEO based on backlinking and things like that. But for the sake of the retention aspect, this is going to be really, really big in terms of increasing the database that you already have of repeat customers.
Yep, reviews are big for building trust between you and your potential new customer. And the reason people don't buy products is not because they need to discuss it with their wife or that they need to think about it. The real underlying reason is they don't trust you enough. And one of the best ways to build that trust is to show other real people being happy about the product. So that's a huge opportunity. After you get all these sales, also get the reviews that are going to help you sell to many more people down the road.
Let your customers sell it for you, basically, right there.
Yep. Social proof is very, very underused, I would say, nowadays in email marketing. That's something that you can look into to not only drive the post-purchase, but also to stand out. And one last one is say thank you. I love this example from Dixon Flannel Company. They had a completely record-breaking Black Friday sale last year. And what I love about what they did is they sent a thank you note from everyone at Dixon. Thank you so much for the record-breaking weekend during the Blackest Friday sale. And thank you to all for all of your support. A really, really sweet message. A lot of marketers forget about this, but you have to appreciate your fans like human beings, like people, and saying a little thank you goes a long way. And that's why we're going to say thank you to all of you right now for sticking through with us for so long. Wow, we went so much over time. I'm a little bit embarrassed, honestly, that we had to go over time for so long, but now is time to celebrate. Give yourself a pat on the back, everyone, before we jump into the Q&A. We're going to have some 10-15 minutes for that now, but give yourself a pat on the back for learning so much new information today. Usually I like to do a wrap-up slide with the key takeaways at the end, but today there was so much, so many quick tips and so many strategies that I had no idea how to even put all of that into one slide and pick out the main ones. So everybody, let's go into the chat right now and share one top thing that you learned today. The best strategy that you think is going to be great for your business that you're going to implement, or a quick tip that you found interesting and surprising and you never thought of, like maybe the reviews, collecting reviews and sharing them inside of your emails. Or maybe you liked a certain particular piece of data that surprised you or motivated you. Share that in the chat, and I'm going to be really interested to see all of those replies. All right. And one last thing before we get into answering your live questions is the next session. As I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar, there's going to be a second session on next Tuesday on November 16th. It's going to be at the exact same time as today, 12 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to dive into examples, real life examples of all of these strategies that we shared today in action. Actual people, Omnisend customers and people from across the internet using these strategies that we talked about in Black Friday and Cyber Monday marketing. We're going to try to dig up some of the best messages, both emails and SMS, that we can find for inspiration for you guys. And also, we're going to break them down to understand which exact lines, words, aspects, designs, etc. What exactly makes those messages successful, so that you guys can go and steal those strategies and implement into your messages really easily. So that's what the next session is going to be about. Thank you everyone for sticking through for so long. Some additional resources. We have this Black Friday and Cyber Monday hub with a bunch of blog posts and also videos by me. I'm going to paste the link into the chat right now. That's like our all-inclusive hub of Black Friday and Cyber Monday resources. If you are interested in further reading, check that out. And some more resources on the next slide. Really good emails. One that I mentioned, a resource that I personally use all the time for searching for email inspiration, for email examples. You can search for like Apple or Nike or Samsung and look at what those big guys are doing out there and try to replicate those messages. And it's going to be so much faster and more effective than learning on your own. Mild.com is a similar resource, something that Gabe uses and has recommended to me, but I'm sticking to really good emails. They've definitely got me in that loyal fans segment inside of their marketing. Omnisend.com/blog. Once again, further reading, and Pinterest.com is also another place where you can search for email examples. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, one more time, thank you everyone. We'll see you in session 2 on November 16th. Confetti, celebrate, and let's get into the Q&A. All right, we've kept you waiting for long enough. Let me stop that screen share and jump into the chat. Now, do you have access to the Q&A chat, George? Can you see those questions? Yes. Okay, well, while I'm setting everything up on my screen here, you can actually go ahead and see if there's any questions in there already and start answering them.
Yeah, so the first one comes from anonymous attendee. Would you recommend a % deal over a set dollar amount so that the customer sees a higher number of sales, such as 10% off instead of $2 off? Yeah, I think that's a really good question. It really depends on your audience. Personally, I think if it's a low priced product amount, generally speaking, for e-commerce and retail, I think the dollar off makes a little bit more sense. But that's something to test out. So leverage Omnisend for A/B testing and try out 10% versus $2. And that will give you what you're looking for there.
Yep, I definitely second George there. Test it out. I've once again seen data that dollar-based discounts perform better on average, but it it's an average. It's not the case for everyone and depends on your product. So test it out. I personally also am more receptive to dollar-based discounts. I act on those much more often than percentage-based ones, but it might be different for your audience. So great question. Thank you so much for that. Now, the next one, how will supply chain bottlenecks affect the sales trends and how do we address them? Do you have any insights for this one, George?
Starting early to plan, like that's the best thing that I can think of right now. I'd have to know a little bit more about the supply chain system to answer a little bit more specifically about that. But it's really just, yeah, getting a head start because there are so many delays going on all over the world that, yeah, that's my best answer.
I think the example from Dixon File Company is a great one. Just send a simple email saying that there's going to be delays and it's completely fine. We're all human and things happen, delays happen. Just make sure that people know what to expect. But that's also all I can say, that this question is a bit out of my league, honestly.
And if they don't like what you have to say, at the very least, what you're doing is being transparent. And if you're being transparent and honest with your customers, that's a key foundational piece to building that trust. And as we know, with any type of relationship, a partner, a friend, a family member, right, a customer, that trust is very important. So even though they may not like it, they'll respect you for it.
All right. Thank you so much for that question. Now I see a suggestion, I guess, from Max. I suggest to mention reallygoodemails.com for all the best free examples of emails, especially for Black Friday. I completely second that. I love Really Good Emails. And I am also subscribed to Really Good emails, and they are really good. And I suggest that you subscribe to those too. They're really good. That's how I found out about Nifty images, for example. So those guys over at Really Good Emails, they really share good value in those emails. Okay. I see a question from Tiana about SMS. Hi there, I'm worried about using the Omnisend link in my text messages to customers as it doesn't have my business name in the URL, and I'm concerned clients will think it's spam and not click the link. But that means that I don't have the data on the campaign in the backend. Is there a known issue with click rate on the Omnisend generated URL? Any other feedback on that? Now, I've definitely heard this question before. It's definitely something that people are asking about. I'm not sure if a fix is coming anytime soon. I am not sure, but I know that despite that, people are marketing using Omnisend, using SMS, and they're completely fine. Maybe it's going to take some time for your customers to get used to that, to understand that that's the real you, that's the real links to your real store. But other than that, be very timely with your welcome message is another tip I could give. When a person signs up for your SMS subscription, be very clear in the wording that it's an SMS subscription and we're going to be sending you text messages, and then send them a text message right as soon as they subscribe so that they know how it looks like and how the links look like.
And as a normal best practice to kind of reduce those spam issues or anything like that, put your company name, your brand name at the beginning of the text message, right? That way it provides a little bit more legitimacy in terms of who it's coming from, because if it's for a welcome message, like Alexi said, they just sign up, they know they're going to receive it. So when they say, oh, this is hi from XYZ brand, they're going to know that that those two are correlated together and reduce those spams and complaints there.
Great tip there, George. Thank you so much for the question. Oh, and regarding the countdown timer, this is already something that you can do inside of Omnisend. I know that before that wasn't possible. Seems like now that is not the case. So there's that. Another question, anonymous attendee, if I already have a large email list, but currently no SMS, how can I get my current email subscribers to sign up for SMS? So number one, set up a sign-up form on your website to get new people signing up for SMS right away. Number two, you could send people an email, I think we can do that, right? An email with the preference update, the preference settings page where they can opt in for SMS. So send them a message saying, hey, we're exploring the SMS channel. We invite you to become an SMS subscriber. If you're interested, go here and sign up.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be SMS consent. The preference center link that you have can be any types of data points. You want to know when their birthday is. You want to know anything at all that can be leveraged in that and will be saved as a data point in the user profile under the audiences tab for that corresponding contact.
All right, thank you so much for the question. Another one. Could you please recommend some tools or apps for creating a content calendar online? So the way we are managing our intercom messages inside of Omnisend, we are just using a Google spreadsheet, and we are labeling emails as red background with red background, highlighting it with red background, and highlighting in-app messages with blue background. Super simple, but it works for us. So we use Google Sheets all the time. So it's just very native for us. So whatever is comfortable for you, you can use that. Can you give some CTA examples? So I think we've already kind of covered this, and sorry guys that we were not clear about what a CTA is immediately, as we started talking about it. CTAs are shop now, see best deals, see hot offers, browse store, browse new collection. Those are some examples there for you. I hope that about covers it. Another question from Robin, are these tips for general emails as well, or just Black Friday and Cyber Monday? A lot of these, I would say, can be applied for email marketing and SMS marketing in general, but for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, some of these are most effective during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. For example, urgency. Urgency overall is important, but if you overuse it a bit too much, you could appear a bit too aggressive, a bit too spammy. But during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, urgency is what drives people to buy, one of the most important factors. So that's why we stress those points today. But most of these tips, I would say, can be applied to email marketing in general.
Absolutely.
Next question coming in from Victoria. What do you think about buy one, get one free, buy one, get one at a percentage off? Do you recommend that as an offer option? What do you think, George, about this one?
I do. There's a reason, the term BOGO, buy one, get one off. It works. Is because people can really, leverage that. And especially if you have something where you have a lot of different SKUs, right? Maybe a buy one, get one off doesn't really work too well if you only have a SKU of, SKUs of 100 or so. But if you have, 1,000, something like that, definitely. Whatever you can use to get that sort of creative advantage when it comes to financing, whether that's a percentage off, buy one, get one off, free shipping, definitely use it. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're testing out these offers and making sure you're letting the data drive you to the decision of which offer is resonating most with your customers. So yes, I do think that that's a good initiative, but just make sure you're testing it out correctly.
All right, awesome. Question coming in from Jennifer. Instead of 3 to 6 products, what if you share three to 6 collections? I think that's great because it makes navigation easier for your customers. If you have only a handful of products, sharing your best sellers is the way to go. But if you have lots of different products for men, for women, for pets, for gifts, for clothing, for gadgets, for tech, etc., it's much more convenient for your customers if you share those main key collections inside of your email as opposed to the top products. So that's definitely an option for you there. Mm-hmm. A question about SMS versus WhatsApp messages. Now, do you have any experience with that, George? Because I don't, and I know we don't support WhatsApp messages with Omnisend.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of marketing going out on WhatsApp. I don't have a whole lot of experience there either, so I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I've never used it myself. I have received some Facebook Messenger marketing myself, but I honestly have no idea how well it works, but we don't have it. So
Right.
I would
I mean,
stick to
when you think
SMS.
about it, it's just another application that somebody has to use. And if you can reduce that friction of connection by just doing SMS, it's going to be more beneficial there than having an app to rely on that's bringing in and out, signals for messages.
All right, hope that answers your question, but that's the best we can do. Another question from an anonymous attendee. So SMS has a 98% open rate, but how does their conversion rate compare to email? Do you remember some data off the top of your head, George? Or I'm going to try to find something on our blog. I think we have plenty of data on that.
Yeah, I don't recall off the top of my head.
Well, one thing I know for sure is that SMS conversion rate is definitely higher than email because, well, less SMS messages go out and they're much more personal and intimate, and only your most engaged subscribers are going to subscribe to SMS too on top of email. So it's natural that SMS conversion rates are significantly higher than email. So yeah, I think that about covers it.
Mhm.
Another one, let's see. A question coming in from Ian for abandoned cart email automation for WooCommerce. What would you suggest for the discount automation? Since Shopify has personalized coupon code that's valid for 1 day for urgency, but we don't have that in WooCommerce. Please help. What would you recommend in that case, George?
I recommend talking to one of my tech reps internally to get a better understanding for that. I think, yeah, I don't want to say anything until I have a final answer. So, Ian, do we have Ian's email address? We can follow up with him.
We definitely could, but I think actually the nature of the question is quite simple here because with Shopify and BigCommerce stores, we support automatically generated random unique codes for those platforms. For WooCommerce, we don't. What we could do for the 5 days of Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday, we could just create those codes manually. It's just 5 codes, right? Not too much, a bit of manual work, but definitely manageable. Or we could just do one code for all 5 days and just kill it inside of WooCommerce once the Cyber 5 are over. Hope that covers your question, Ian. But if you want to talk more about that, feel free to reach out to us. academy@omnisend.com is our academy email address. And I hope you know how to reach out to support@omnisend.com, or using the in-app chat inside of Omnisend. All right, George, do you have a few more minutes, or do you have to jump right now and we're going to call it a day? We have about 10 more questions to cover today.
Yeah, let's keep going. Got a good momentum
Let's keep
here.
going. That's awesome, because one thing we could do is we could just end this here and follow up with you guys by email. But if you, George, are fine with sticking through for some 10 more minutes, let's get these questions answered live as we promised. Awesome. So another question, another one that I think I'm going to need your help with, George. More than 30% of our ordered customers don't sign up for the newsletter. What's the best way other than set up reactivation emails to them?
The first thing I want to do is understand what that call to action, that CTA, looks like for people that are going through the checkout process and trying to have that button where you can subscribe or not. I want to make sure that that's visible, because if you're seeing 30%, that's kind of a high number. I'd want to see that. So what immediately comes to my mind is that CTA button is not standing out as much as it should. If you think it is and we find that that's not working, then I would recommend a more targeted form to use, because the form's not working and there's no way that we can, if we're not getting the consent to reach out for them, there's no way that we can legally communicate to them, hey, you've purchased a product, we'd like to have you sign up for our email list. So make sure that call to action on the checkout page is available and clearly shown out. And two, make sure that that form is presented in the right way and that the logic is correct. Maybe you're not putting that sign up form on the home page, but it's on a specific category page. So maybe rearrange the logic and how that's displayed.
All right, hope that helps you out. Now another question from Andre. Greetings, George. How can I get an opportunity to ask you questions one-on-one? What do you say to that, George?
Open to it, absolutely, yeah. So my email address will be available. Shoot me some questions that you have, and happy to have a conversation and help you out, Andre, or anyone else for that matter.
Yep, George's email address is george@omnisend.com. So if you have any questions, we are very customer centric and we're always here for you, especially during this very important time of year, which Black Friday and Cyber Monday is. So definitely feel free to reach out to us or me, Alexi@omnisend.com or academy@omnisend.com. So there's a bunch of options for you. Do you have a female consumers perspective? You reference a lot of male focused brands as examples. I'm really sorry. A lot of these examples I'm coming up with off the top of my head as I'm speaking. And since I myself am a guy, a lot of the examples that come to my mind are male focused brands. So I'm really sorry if I offended anyone. That's never been my intention. We'll try to come up with more female oriented brand examples in the next session, shall we, George?
Absolutely.
I think that's something that we can keep in mind for the next one. Thank you for the feedback. Which is the better way to make emails, the old builder or the new builder? I think whichever one you're most comfortable with. Now, at some point in the future, the old builder is going to stop being supported. So the new email builder is the new wave, I guess you could say. I personally enjoy the way the new email builder looks more than the old builder. I'm still kind of used to the old way things used to work, but the new one is actually pretty easy to get a hang of if you put in some deliberate practice for a couple of hours. It's pretty easy to get a hang of things. So I would say start learning the new one. Okay. A question from Clary. Hi, is the pop-up sign-up form available in the free plan of Omnisend? Yes, absolutely.
Under the Forms tab.
Yep, under the Forms tab inside of Omnisend app, go into the Forms section and you will be able to create it from there. Another question, over 100 subscribed emails sent out every time has 0 bounce rate, but open rate never reaches 20%. What happens to those 80% that do not bounce, but do not open my emails? Should I delete them? After a while, what we recommend usually is if they are not opening your emails for 6 to 12 months, depending on how often you're sending, they're probably not active. A lot of those people might be subscribing with fake disposable email addresses. A lot of those people just stop using their email address and start using a new one. A lot of those people just become uninterested in your products, and that's completely natural. There's no way to go around that. I might subscribe to some brand and then I'm no longer interested in those products. That's completely fine. So after a while, after 6 to 12 months of inactivity, unsubscribe them, but don't delete them from your list permanently to keep that data, because some of those might resubscribe later down the road and you're going to have their purchase history from way back. You want to keep that just in case. I think that about covers it, George, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The next question, and we have about 9 left. Oh, actually we have less left. We're pretty much done, guys. Awesome. if you have any last minute questions, this is your last chance for today's session, okay? I've been trying to use the new A/B content testing beta. I'm a little bummed that I can only choose from the Omnisend list of templates and can't use my standard email templates without building it from scratch. Any chance this will change during the beta?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the, one of the advantages to having something in beta is that you get early access to it. But the disadvantage is it's not fully built out yet. So we have our engineers and product managers that are working internally to add new features, work on any bugs that are currently in with those existing features that are already there. But this is definitely something that we call a feature request. And what I can do is take this and submit it to our product engineers, product managers and engineers so that they can have eyes on it. It seems like a relative ask what you're asking. So we'll get some eyes on it and see if we can get that live for you.
Definitely. And make sure to reach out to customer support with a question like this after the webinar. Maybe they will be able to get a more specific time, what do you call it? Basically, when approximately is going to be released, or is there any work plan on it?
An ETA for launch.
English. So yeah, make sure to reach out to support and they're going to be able to come up with a better, more specific answer for this one. Definitely something that's not supposed to work that way, right? So it's definitely going to get fixed at some point in the future. Another question from Andre, what are some great retention email strategies? So basically the ones that we went through today, right? Make sure to send an order confirmation. Take that chance, that order confirmation email or SMS to upsell people, and make sure to ask for a review. I would say set up an automation and wait for 7 to 14 days after someone has purchased to make sure that they receive the package, open up your product, start using it, and receive the value that it provides, and they're a happy customer. As soon as that happens, reach out to them and ask for a review. And a lot of people are going to be inclined to leave a good review after using your product. And another thing you can do, leveraging our customer lifecycle stages. That's something you can find under the audience tab inside of Omnisend under customer breakdown. There's a customer lifecycle stage that's called at risk, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, what you can do is create a segment based on that at-risk customer lifecycle stage and set up an automation to message people as soon as they fall into that at-risk stage, saying, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Maybe a 10% off coupon is going to get you to come back to us. And we really miss you, not just leverage the incentive, but send a genuinely nice message, something to brighten up their day, right? So those are my top tips I would give. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Why does the new email builder not have email templates? The new email builder does have email templates. Now, it might be that you just didn't notice, so try again and maybe you will be able to find them, but it definitely does. Just once again, it's in the beta, so the team is experimenting with where exactly to show you those templates to make sure that you see them and can take advantage of those, but it definitely does. So try again, and I really hope that you find those. How do I save my emails to a list on my site as a library, saving either live with a link or as a PDF? Have you heard of a use case like that, George, before?
I don't really understand Jennifer's question, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird wording. Maybe, Jennifer, if you could elaborate a bit on that. If I'm understanding correctly, but basically what Jennifer is trying to do is save those emails on the website, like how you would have a blog post. Save an email on your website like that. I think that's the use case, which might be.
I'm not sure about that actually.
Case here.
We'd have to find some kind of workaround. Oh wait, Jennifer just said something.
Yeah, Jennifer is saying, sorry guys, there's a ton of SEO opportunity.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone doing that. I'm seeing Oscar typing in a reply, so Oscar might have something that's going to help you out.
That grocery stores do something like that sometimes on their website. Like they'll do like their weekly deals and they'll just copy that hard copy magazine that you get when you go into a grocery store. But in terms of e-commerce brands, I don't see them saving their emails to their website. What they might do is if they have some content that's really engaging and useful, they'll use that as a blog post and reword it a little bit to put on the blog post. That's the quickest way, or that's the all practical way that I see similar brands leveraging that.
Yeah, and Jennifer elaborated that it's pretty much that. Our emails are less about discounts and have more content, so I'd love to save them. So, unless Oscar is typing in some genius way of doing that, I think the best way to go about this is just copy and paste the text and you make sure that it looks good like a blog post.
And when you do that, that now gives you another opportunity to engage your customers because now you have content in there. Brands that have content get more engagement because it's not just, I mentioned this earlier, it's not just about selling. It's about education as well. So very, very, very great idea there is to come up with a blog post to put some of those emails into.
And I see that Oscar just answered that question in written form. So he says that there's a way and it's explained in an article. So Jennifer, thank you for the great question. And I hope that you are going to be able to find a more competent answer in that article. All right. Once again, any trouble arises, contact our customer support team and they're going to dig in or reach out to us directly and we're going to try to figure out a way. All right, and let's do, I think there's like one or two last ones. A question from Will, is there a best time of day to send an email? Depends on your audience. If it's like elderly people who tend to get up early and who do not stay up late, it makes sense to send emails like at 8 a.m. in the morning, right? If it's teenagers or gamers, right, selling gaming peripherals or something, once again, an example off the top of my head, because I am a big fan of some gaming peripherals brands, a lot of young people like me tend to stay up late, and maybe sending an email at 10 in the evening is the way to go. So experiment and think about what makes sense for your audience, but generally all times of day work well as long as it's the day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Everything works kind of similarly.
And just to add to that, Alexi, it's also, this is another benefit of having a content calendar. Because if you know when you're sending out your campaigns in the future, then that'll impact something like this. So sending an email, if let's say 8 a.m. is the most opportune time to get engagement, what if you plan on sending another email out later on that afternoon at 12? In the matter of just a few hours, they're receiving 2 emails. So the frequency in which you're sending emails plays a big role too in terms of what time of day is the optimal time for them to open and click on that email.
Yep. And I think the last question that we have in the Q&A for today is, does Omnisend have options for BOGO discount blocks in emails? Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I have to get back on that.
I'm not sure either. Try searching the knowledge base. Maybe there's some integration that allows to do that. I mean, there's integrations, third-party apps for everything. And you might be able to find something, or just reach out to support. I think it's a simple question for them that they would be able to address easily. All right, and I think that about covers it. I see one last question in the chat that Oscar just answered about time zone optimization. So, all right, thank you so much, everyone, for sticking through with us for so long. Wow, it's almost a 2-hour session. I'm exhausted, honestly. This has been so awesome, like exhausted in a good way. How are you feeling, George?
Invigorated, ready to take on the rest of the day here. This was great. Looking forward to
Wow.
next week's part 2 session to this.
It's almost 9 p.m. here for me, so I think it's natural that I'm a bit worn out for the day. So thank you so much for participating with me today, George. I'm looking forward for the next session already. And thank you so much for everyone for sticking through for so long. I see Ian is still here. It's almost 3 a.m. in Malaysia, and he's still watching. That's a champ right there. That's stamina. That's amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for the great comments, for interacting with us, for the great questions. And we'll see you in the next session on November 16th, everyone. And good luck with your Black Friday and Cyber Monday marketing. Bye, everyone.
Cheers.